Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning, Bix Weir, RoadRunner.com. With your morning horn disease, your sip of chaga coffee. Massive day in silver yesterday. Massive day for both price action, visibility of the rig job, and what it took to rig it, the price of silver back under the 200-day moving average. Let's get going. I posted yesterday a discussion I had with Andy Schechtman about the physical market. You don't want to be caught in the mix of a run on silver. You don't want to be there. You want to be sitting with your silver on the sidelines already, because you're going to order silver. They're going to say, oh yeah, it's going to take 3 months, and you'll never get it. Get your silver now before the chaos starts on the retail side. Here's what happened yesterday, and this will blow your mind. As you know, we had the silver broke out of its 200-day moving average. It had been sitting under that for 7 months, and it took war to break out for it to bump over the 200-day moving average. Huge buy signal for the tech funds if it holds. The shorts, mainly JP Morgan, who facilitates it, and the big one, Bank of America, had to get the price back down under the 200-day moving average, which is 24.30, I think. They had to do it. No matter what, they had to do it. They just had to do it. So how many ounces of silver did they sell into the criminal COMEX market to facilitate a jump down a tiny, tiny amount to below the 200-day moving average? The numbers are in right there. Look at that. 204,000 contracts. That is over 1 billion ounces of silver, more than they mine in an entire year just to get it the price below the 200-day moving average. That is shocking. It's beyond shocking. It's fucking criminal. Rustam Benham, the head of the CFTC, the only person left at the CFTC. I heard Dawn DeBerry Stump, who gave her notice a year and 3 months early, never goes into the office anymore. She's gone already. That was the only other commissioner. There's supposed to be 5. Now it's just one guy, Rustam Benham, who colluded with Bank of America and JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs last year about this time to tamp down the price of silver. The guy doesn't belong as the head of a regulatory agencies. He belongs in jail, along with Jeff Curry, Jeff Christian, Bank of America, Brian Moynihan. They're stuck and they're screwed. So what do? They pull out their derivative playbook and say, the only thing we can do, it's like the Fed. The only thing the Fed can do to fix a problem is create more money, create more unbacked fiat currency, create more repo transactions, create more derivatives. They're all derivatives. But what can Bank of America do? Only one thing: dump 1 billion ounces of electronic silver on the silver market to make the price go down like $1. That's how weak these assholes are. They are beyond weak. Funny thing is, so I had my Jenny Moonstone discussion. I talk to her every week about silver and things important. And I'm like, oh, great. The silver's jumped above the 200-day moving average. Jenny, is it going to hold? She's pulling out her card. She says, no, it's not going to hold. But she did a reading on just how in the weeds these guys are. And she said they are seriously bleeding from doing what they're doing. And they're in serious trouble. They've never been in serious trouble. Historically, they've always won. And then we see the price jump below after I did the interview. By the way, this is on the private road. Go to roadtoroota.com. Join the private road today. There's 2 of them. One's about silver and the other's about war, natural disasters, or peace, where I take coordinates of places on the planet, and she does it blind by the coordinates. It's really fun to watch. So go and subscribe to roadtoroota.com. Hit subscribe today, and I'll send you 50 T-Fuel loaded on a paper wallet also. If you don't have any cryptos, yes, you need them. Poor David Morgan's guy John Perez did his victory lap yesterday saying, I got so many people out of cryptos and into silver. It's all me. It's all my doing, exposing these criminals. And then crypto jumps 10% today. He took a victory lap a little too soon. Again, open invitation to I would love to debate John Perez. If David wants to put together, let's debate. Anyway. But this is what happened. You want to know why silver didn't hold its 200-day moving average? Because the bad guys had to literally dump, over 1 billion ounces. Think about that for a second. Hundreds of thousands of people are part of the silver mining industry around the world. Hundreds of thousands of individuals. There's communities, there's towns that rely, and there's suppliers of equipment to mine silver. There's refiners. Hundreds of thousands of people have their life invested in that. The country of Mexico is the largest producer of silver in the world. They have massive silver mines everywhere. It is a gigantic part of the economy. And here we have one bank, Bank of America, and the criminals that collude with it, dumping 1 billion ounces of silver on the market to destroy the technical part of the price. Do you see how the ramifications of this type of behavior, how it trickles down to everybody in the community? Imagine your dad's a silver miner and you live in the poorest part of Mexico and he barely makes a living because it's so expensive and so hard to get silver out of the ground. It is 100% your life is fucked up because of Brian Moynihan at Bank of America, because he put an 800 million ounce short position because he's fucking greedy to get the $20 billion that he sold it for last year, but now he has to pay it back and he doesn't want to have to pay through the nose, so he slams it with derivatives and computers, facilitated by a company called Virtu Financial. Vinny Viola, look it up. And JP Morgan, of course. And Goldman Sachs is in on this one. We saw Jeff Curry come out, who's the Goldman Sachs guy, sweating profusely, saying, "Oh my God, no, this isn't us. This is SLV authorized participants hedging their silver position," which is completely illegal, by the way. That silver on SLV is owned by the shareholder, not BlackRock, not Goldman Sachs. None of them should be hedging silver in an ETF. That's the reason it's illegal. It's not theirs to hedge. It is not theirs to hedge. Silver on ETFs, gold on ETFs are owned by the shareholders. When they buy a share and add a share, they have to put the silver in. When they sell that share, they take the silver out. I've looked at SLV's list of top holders. None of these authorized participants are on that list. So no, Jeff Curry, you lied. Anyway, yeah, the amount of silver mined on, I don't think ever on planet Earth has 1 billion ounces of silver been mined in 1 year, but ever in the history of mining. And yet criminals like Bank of America, because they're in a little trouble, decide, oh yeah, we're going to dump 1 billion ounces on the market, which is $24 billion in 1 day to protect their $18 billion short position. There is things going on here that are so above and beyond criminal. And Rustin Benham is the only guy left at the CFTC, the only regulator of these assholes. I wouldn't say the only regulator. Bank of America is regulated by the grand poobah of all regulators, which is the Federal Reserve. This is a Federal Reserve problem as well. You have a rogue bank. You have many rogue banks, but your big rogue bank in silver now is Bank of America, that took out a massive lease to get the cash to leverage that up to $200 billion, and now they can't pay it back. Why? Because there's no silver left. So what do? They dump massive amounts of contracts. And oh, by the way, tomorrow's the last day of trading, so the deliveries kick in. They usually get out of that. And I think they will this time as well, because the open interest for that month is 22,000 contracts. Now, here's the other thing. A lot of people look at tomorrow and say, okay, that's it. It'll probably drop tomorrow another 8,000, maybe 10,000 contracts with this big dump. So they'll get it down to like 50 or 60 million ounces, but they don't even have that. And then it carries over to Monday, which is I never quite figured out. Why a day later do they continue to drop the open interest? Some people tell me, oh, it's just a reporting thing. Some people also say, well, a lot of this is settled in cash on the first day. So I don't think it's going to be a monster delivery month, given right now it would be. 22,000 contracts is 210 million ounces of physical silver if those were all being delivered. Now, another big thing that we need to remember is anybody who has a COMEX account can come in during the month of March and buy a silver contract and take delivery immediately. Anybody. That's part of the rules. So keep an eye on that. But right now, I would expect tomorrow the open interest to be down to 14, and then that extra day, probably get it down to about 50 million ounces, which is manageable. From the December deliveries, where Bank of America delivered 25 million ounces of physical silver, I would expect them to do about the same. I think there's something that caps them. They don't want to become visible at 5,000 contracts, which is over. It was 4,900 and something. So the game continues, but we can see, obviously, yesterday, and I've been screaming this for a long time, the fear and loathing of the 200-day moving average. Imagine Bank of America, who has to get all this silver from somewhere and pay it back to JP Morgan. Imagine them competing with the tech funds for the silver positions. They don't want to do that. They dumped literally over 1 billion ounces. Let's all write Rustum Benham at the CFTC and say, what the fuck? 1 billion ounces of silver dumped on the market in one day, and you think that's normal? That's normal trading? It's not. I think there's been 2, maybe 3 days in the history of COMEX that it was worse. One day, I remember one day, and it might have been the slam from $50, 2 billion ounces straight, which is just pure freaking fraud. And oh, by the way, yes, it turned out that JP Morgan was the one committing the fraud and were busted for it. Is it going to take 10 years for the CFTC to figure out that it's Bank of America committing this fraud of dumping 1 billion ounces onto the market to knock the price below the 200-day moving average? Who knows? Anyway, as I said, hang in there with silver. This bullshit won't last long. Silver is in high demand, the most important investment you can possibly make. The gold-silver ratio, because of all this bullshit market rigging, the United States is extremely vulnerable. This is a national security issue now. Vladimir Putin can say, buy silver and destroy Bank of America, too big to fail bank, and destroy the entire financial system because the United States allows market rigging and colludes with the market riggers. We are the most vulnerable we've been in the history of the United States today because of the market rigging, because of the fraud and the lies and the stupidity of our monetary leaders. I would not be surprised if Putin ever had an inkling that he might not, come out on top. All he would have to say is buy silver, buy gold. How about this one? Hey, everybody, swap your gold for silver. It's 80-1. Instantly, you'd see the price of silver go 1-1 with gold, and that's where it's headed. Again, I said cryptos were getting slammed because of the Biden war. This is all orchestrated. You guys know the drill. It's all computers and derivatives. Crypto got a bid back. You just want to hang on to your cryptos for the long run. David Morgan quoted me as saying that cryptos will go to zero. I also said that silver will go to zero too, because the price is not real. When the exchanges shut down and the banks fail, you won't even know the price of any of them. I didn't say you can buy any. When Bitcoin goes to zero, you won't be able to buy any. It's too valuable. It's the exchanges that fake the price. So the COMEX will go to zero. It'll cost you zero to get silver, and they'll shut down the market. That's what I was talking about. Cryptos will be the most valuable assets in the future. Silver will be the largest return in a short amount of time when the rigging ends. That's the take on the road to Ruta. If you don't have cryptos, you're kind of screwed for the future. Unless you have silver that you can ultimately swap into cryptos. And David will take all his silver and swap them into cryptos at some point. Why not get in early? Why not get in on the ground floor? And that's what anybody who argues against cryptos, they didn't do it. That's why they have a problem with them. You know, I can't tell you how many gold and silver bug friends I know that say, oh my God, I could have got in at Bitcoin at $10, but I think Bitcoin's going away. Look at the numbers. Bitcoin's at $40,000. You could have been rich and bought all the silver and gold you wanted. And the same thing's going to happen in the next 10 years. Oh my God, Bitcoin's at $10 million. I could have bought when it was only $40,000. Don't believe me? Fine. To your detriment. I would like to point out that we have, again, I have just posted on the private road at Road to Ruta, I have posted the Jenny Moonstone latest 2 readings. The silver one's really important. Because at the moment I did the interview, silver had broken through the 200-day moving average. And I always get pissed off at her when we talk about silver and she doesn't confirm what I think is going to happen. I'm like, the question was, will silver hold the 200-day moving average throughout the month? And she pulls these cards. She says, I don't think so. And I'm all pissed off. And then she's like, well, let's read how their rig job is going. And she pulled these cards. And I'm like, holy crap. And she's like, they have to do everything they possibly can, which is this: sell 1 billion ounces into the electronic market just to maintain a semblance of control. I mean, all they got, they dumped 1 billion ounces on the market, and all they got's a downdraft of about $1. That's insane. So yes, now is the time. Watch these Jenny Moonstone readings. Again, this is the private road at Road to Ruta. All you private road members, go check it out. I just posted it. And then, yeah, don't forget, get your roadshow tickets. We're going on the road very soon. That's in 2 weeks. On March 1st or March 5th, we start in Sonoma, Santa Barbara, LA, San Diego, Phoenix. Check it out. Go to roadtoruta.com, click on Roadshow, and here's a glimpse of what it will be like. This is Bix. I'll talk to you later.